All right, we got another episode of Intellectual Dummies. We got This Week in Politics edition, September 12th, 2025. I'm your host, Lucas. This is my co-host, Paul.
What up?
What are you laughing about?
No, that was good. I thought you were gonna fumble, but you managed to navigate through that.
I pushed through.
Yeah, I was like, oh, right at the beginning, he's already starting to fumble, but you pushed right through.
I pushed
No, that
through.
was good. That was good.
Pushed through. You know, it's like Edelman catching that football right an inch off the ground in the playoffs, the Super Bowl, whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but.
But I mean, dude, it's been a wild week in politics. Charlie Kirk, one of our cultural icons in this country, or at the very least on the right, was shot and murdered at a campus event in Utah. Killer was on the run for a little while. They caught him. Family member turned him in. I think it was his father.
Yeah, I believe it was his father too.
Everyone's in shock. We're all in shock. Like, what is this? So we're gonna kind of try. We're gonna go over some news clips, and we're gonna kind of talk about why this happened. Why this happened, and I don't know. Probably roast the left a lot. So.
All right, so what we have is the this press conference that happened today when they caught the guy and they have him in custody. So I haven't seen all this yet. I've only seen clips of it on Instagram.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th. In which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th.
From what it seemed like too, like this kid came from a good home and just went to college and got fucking indoctrinated.
Well, yeah, I mean, and think about how quick it was to indoctrinate this kid who's 22 years old, and he's already brainwashed enough to go out and kill somebody. That's wild.
And in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed.
Yeah, spreading hate. Worship Jesus.
Yeah, don't kill babies.
Men don't belong in the women's room. Like, yeah, he's really spreading that hate.
Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted in
So in gun terms, Luke, what does that mean?
I mean, it's a pretty basic hunting rifle. You know, scope, wood stock. You know, it's a very basic looking hunting rifle. But the thing is with these bullets is that they're big. You know, I mean, these are the rifles that are very powerful, but they don't look scary. So they don't try and ban them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is a bolt action, which, you know, obviously you can't rapid fire a bolt action. So I guess I get that. But basic sniper rifle pretty much for the people that aren't gun people.
Okay.
Yeah.
inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this question mark?" Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah. But I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history. With that, I will now turn the microphone over to the director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
So anything so far, Lucas, that you have to say?
I mean, it must be tough learning that your son is the murderer. You know, that's got to be the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
You know, your 22-year-old son, you have to, I mean, turn him in. That's just the right thing to do. I mean, he's a murderer now.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm not surprised that this kid, what was his name? Tyler Robinson?
I don't remember.
Uh,
I mean,
Robinson, we'll call him Robinson.
yeah, okay.
Had to slightly boast about what he did or allude to it or whatever the context was. Because you just did something that garnered at least national attention, you know, multi-country, you know, I wouldn't say global. I don't think he was known globally, but
There's a
I
lot of
think in the West, at least.
Yo, they held a thing in Japan for him.
So globally, I mean, it doesn't get more different than just being Asian and not speaking real words. Bad joke. All right.
That was a pretty bad joke, Luke. Here, hold on. Let me just give you this.
You know what? I am flattered.
Good.
I'm flattered that I got the new tool that we learned about. And that's not fair that you have that and I don't.
Hey, I only use it when the bad joke happens. That's all. There's other sounds, but I don't know what, you know, I got to figure out when to sneak them in. But right now, that's definitely one for you.
All right, I'm sorry, Japan. I'm sorry for all our Japanese listeners. Sorry that I offended you. But yeah, no, that's wild. You know, I mean, you can't hide something like that. When people do crazy stuff like that, you can't. That's not something you can keep a secret. You know.
Yeah, it's like I remember watching. I'm sure you've seen it. That video where that mother found the head in her kid's like closet.
Yeah.
And it was the police chest video.
Yeah.
That was pretty rough. That must be really rough.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that kid was 2 seconds from getting caught too. He would have got caught earlier because blood was coming out of the trunk. Remember? Because that's where he had the body, and he told the police he cut his hand.
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I remember that case pretty well. But when you saw him in the interrogation room, same thing. He almost seemed like he was what's the word? He was definitely embellishing in the story when he was saying how he stabbed him, then cut him up, and it's just like he thinks he's gonna be famous, but you know what? You're gonna die in the back pages of history. Nobody's gonna remember you. You know?
Yeah.
People make it a point to not remember you. The Daily Wire doesn't report the names of mass shooters as they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you're not important. You did nothing special. You're a coward. You know?
Yeah, so let's continue with Kash Patel. See what he's got to say.
Thank you, Governor. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made
Yo, Kamala Harris won, this killer would have gotten away. For sure.
Yeah.
historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play, and we will play that role, and we will lead out for the federal government. But Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m., where at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the
Motherfucker. Well, we pretty much get the gist of it. I mean, they
Yeah.
caught the guy. You know, but I actually, and minus the day it happened, I stayed completely out of the news cycle until they found the guy. I was like, I'm not going to friggin' even pay attention until they find the killer.
Yeah,
You know?
there's not. Yeah, there's in the beginning. There wasn't really a whole lot to go on, especially when the dude was still at large.
Mm-hmm.
But in this day and age, you're not getting away with anything like that. You're just really not, unless you're just like an absolutely trained professional. And you saw some of those conspiracy theories kind of come out. I saw some conspiracy theories that were like, well, Charlie Kirk criticized Israel on Patrick David Bennett's podcast, and that's why he got it. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
There's a crazy guy with a gun. He planned it, had an escape route, all the things, but he wasn't smart enough to realize that you're at a university with a bunch of cameras, and sunglasses aren't going to do it.
Yeah, changing your clothes isn't going to do it either.
Yeah.
Like, I saw somebody caught a video of him jumping off the roof and immediately started to change his clothes.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're already caught, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they got videos of him walking up and down stairs, him limping down the street. I mean, this is America, bro. I mean, you're on a campus, cameras everywhere. Everyone's got a doorbell camera. You're limping around like you just jumped off of a roof.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just not going to get away with anything. But I mean, what's wild is, and I'm not surprised, is the left wing celebration of this, because a lot of younger radical leftists are celebrating the fact that one of the biggest free speech advocates in the entire country got shot because he was saying hateful things, saying racist things, but nobody can name the racist thing that he's saying. Nobody can name it. You just have to, and I'll always say, if you want to defeat a leftist in debate, just ask them questions. Oh, why? What did he say? Oh, where'd you learn that from? What book did you read to get that information? You're gonna
not just
fumble around every time.
That's not just the leftists. That's everybody.
I think it's everybody. I think it's mostly
when I debate people and they say things to me, I'll always ask questions. Right?
Yeah.
Like for example, how I told you during the week I was debating religion with somebody, and they said, "Well, when I was a kid, I went to Bible study." I said, "Oh yeah, what part of the Bible did you study?" And he got like offended and scoffed at me as if I was like making a dig at him, but he didn't understand that Bible study, you only study a certain part of the Bible.
Yeah.
Bible study isn't everyone reading the whole entire book. And I used the example of how the Bible study you went to, you guys only studied the Gospels. But I do that with everybody. I always ask questions like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm making the comparison between the right and the left. And my overall point being is that the right is always more well-read than the left. The right has sources, has statistics. They've read the books. They know the Constitution. They know civics. Where the left doesn't even know what racism is. Doesn't even know what a woman is. You know, you ask them what is a woman, they say anything that identifies as a woman. And they don't even have the capacity to realize that definition makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the critical thinking skills to realize that what they say makes no sense. Like, here's a good example. You know, Charlie Kirk talks a lot about crime statistics, the fatherless rate in the black community, things like that.
Abortion.
Now, if you're not good at thinking, you look at that and be like, well, that's racist. I can't believe he's criticizing the black community. That's racist. But if you actually think about it, that criticizing a community, critiquing a community, whether it be a religion, a race, a culture, whatever it is, doesn't mean you discriminate against them. He's not saying I hate black people. That's what racism is. You know, but they don't have the capacity to think that way. They just don't. And these are the younger kids, the ones that are supposed to be educated. You know, it's unfortunate, you know. I mean, even in my own anecdotal experience, how many leftists have deleted me on Facebook for me being like, wait a minute, do you really think drag queens should be in front of children? Deleted. Well, Hunter Biden's laptop, deleted. You know, teachers are fostering these ideologies in schools, deleted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they can't debate. You know, I mean, I put it on our Facebook page, Intellectual Dummies. I don't know if do you have anything to say before we get to the comment section?
I think it's just messed. It's like the conspiracy theorist in me almost thinks that maybe all of this is like just a psyop because like it's just so unbelievable to me
Yeah.
that the left has become like this radical that it almost has to be fake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even with the whole like satanic trans movement, like this has to be a psyop. Like there's no way that things have gotten to like this point. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
has to just not be real. I feel, That's like the stoner conspiracy theorist in me. It's like, man, like how are the Democrats gonna like dig this ditch any fucking deeper?
I know.
Like, what are they gonna do next? Like, what are they literally just gonna come out and be like, blah, like just start going nuts and drinking blood? Like, is that gonna be the next press conference?
Yeah. I mean, well, this is a result of their rhetoric. I mean, I don't think we have
Sure.
anything loaded up right now, but if anybody goes on YouTube or Rumble, you can see compilation videos of your typical talking heads on MSNBC, CNN, your Elizabeth Warrens, your Chuck Schumers, your you name it, saying white supremacist, Nazi,
Fascism.
Nazi, white supremacist, fascist,
Threats to
fascist,
democracy.
yeah, hate speech, white supremacy. It's like that's what's brainwashing people to this violence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's fucked up.
But I mean, hey, to the comment section, intellectual dummies, we had a strong opinion on this, and we want to read some of the comments that you guys left. And I said, so the status was, is it up?
It's up.
All
You
right.
just got to read it all because I can't see anything.
Yeah, I'll read it. Yeah, no problem. So I said the left can't compete in the market of intellectual ideas. So they resort to calling you a Nazi, a white supremacist, a racist. They will burn down your cities and tell you it's a peaceful protest. Now they will just murder you if they don't like you, right? We got Frank Holland said this guy deserves the death penalty. Absolutely. And now this is where it kind of gets interesting, right?
Read it all.
I'm going to read it all, but I just want to give people kind of a background as to why I think this is a little weird, right? So a woman here, Laurie Childs, who I haven't talked to in years, comes out of the woodwork. She's definitely a far leftist from what I gather. I mean, she just says, I agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree. Now, and then our friend Dan Caldwell, who, very smart guy, always has very well thought out intellectual thoughts.
Dude typed a fucking short story in the comments section.
He did. I'll try and be fast. I mean, there's some good meat in here. She says, we'll agree to disagree. He says, apparently not without being murdered, which is very clearly the case, right? Conservatives are done denying reality right in front of us. The left has called for violence against us and our beliefs for a long time. Now we watch as emboldened psychopaths bred in the U.S. and imported from elsewhere act on the violence the left has been calling for and are actually executing and attempting to execute our representatives and our duly elected president. And the time is now over where we allow you to tell us we can go back to normal. No, you can't trust anyone who still affiliates with the party sick enough to encourage this kind of behavior. Look at what your elected officials, the Democrats, have said for the last 8 years. Unless you separate entirely from the Democratic Party, which she absolutely doesn't, You are complicit in the violence against your political opponents. Ask Maxine Waters or Chuck Schumer. Ask Pelosi, Biden, Obama. Should we feel safe at dinner? No, they scream. No justice, no peace. Sound familiar? Now, just a quick pause. Maxine Waters says we're not going to rest until we get to the conviction that we want.
Yep.
She wants you to shout down conservatives wherever you see them. You don't see that.
Is Maxine Waters the one that's like, Elon Musk, nobody elected your ass?
Yeah, I think so. Old black lady. Old
Yes,
school black lady. Yeah.
Elon Musk,
Yeah.
nobody elected
Yeah.
your ass.
So I said the only justice would be charging of all elected Democrats who have encouraged violence or rioting or harbored criminals making threats against innocent Americans, and charge them with treason. Agree or disagree? Sorry, I'm not interested in being shot in the neck or stabbed in the neck for being a conservative white American. I think all conservatives feel the same today. And he hit every nail on the motherfucking head with that. I couldn't have said it better myself. I really couldn't have.
Yeah, he's got a good point. I mean, I've come to realize, I was saying it to myself today. I'm at a point now where, like, I have liberal fatigue.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sick of seeing it all. Like, I'm sick of these people protesting and just being a bunch of fucking retards in the streets. And it's like, it's getting real old. Like, I'm at a point now where I feel like if I see a protester, I don't care if it's a man or a woman, I'm going to get out of my car and I'm going to fucking blast them in the face with my fucking fist. I don't give a fuck.
Paul.
No, I don't care. I choose violence. And it's only going to be hand-to-hand combat. Don't worry. But no, I just like, I get what he's saying, but like I definitely feel like the liberal fatigue.
Yeah, no, hey, I've had liberal fatigue for years. I mean, you show them a fact right in front of their face and they deny it, right? So Lori comments back, I believe in lives over sides, and I sure as shit don't support the Second Amendment that is put on a pedestal above the lives of children, period. Now, we'll just pause right there real quick. This is something that leftists do a lot. When you don't really have a solid argument, just invoke the children. Just invoke the children. If you look at how many children have died from gun deaths, the number is very low. Now, one is too many. We can all agree with that. But leftists like to paint the picture that children are just getting massacred all the time. Now, I'll point you to a gun statistic a little while ago that I actually got in a disagreement with a fucking leftist that had deleted me on Facebook because I kept smoking him in arguments, Glenn D. Tommaso.
D. Tommaso, that's an interesting last name.
Yeah, so I don't know if people remember when they said the number one killer of children in America is guns.
I think I remember
everyone
that.
was saying that. Chuck Schumer said it. But you name the person, they said it. It was their slogan for the month, right? All the fact-checked websites that you could go to, every single one said that this was a factual claim. Now, when I commented on on Glenn's page, I said, this is bullshit. Stop believing lies. He commented like every single source, all the fact-checked websites, all in one comment. And every single one of those fact-check comments has age ranges, and they all lumped in adults. And that's the extra layer that Democrats don't look into because they're not capable of critical thinking, is that a 19-year-old isn't a kid. Subjectively, yeah,
Yeah, but
But
not like
legally, no.
yeah, legally, no, yeah, you're
Legally,
right.
that's not defined as a kid. Legally, a 17-year-old is not even a kid.
Yeah, technically.
So you need to lump in a weird age range on every single source you can find. Find a source right now if you're listening right now. Look at it. Every single one lumps in adults. That statistic is a lie, and this is what they do over children. Like, shut the fuck up. You're a liar. You're either disingenuous or you're stupid.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
pisses me off because this is, I mean, we've been combating these dumb ideas for such a long time, and I'm just kind of like sick and tired of it, especially after all of this, right?
Yeah, you get
I
the
mean,
fatigue.
they invoke children with the guns. They invoke it with the transgender stuff. You don't want your kids to die, do you?
Mm.
You know, anytime they invoke, but it's for the children. You know, I mean, they want to
Well, like
limit
with
freedom of
those,
speech.
yeah, those Senate hearings we
Yeah.
watched, it was supposed,
No,
those
we
laws are
want to do
supposed
it
to
for the
protect
children.
kids.
You're a liar. Because children's tug on your heartstrings the most. Anyways, let's continue before I fucking lose my mind. One of my friends moved to Paris many years ago to work in the fashion industry. When she got to know the neighbors in the apartment buildings she moved into, their impression of Americans was that they were running around with guns, killing each other all the time. I don't know that they were wrong. Violence is never the right solution. You don't know that they were wrong.
I was ready to say, you don't know, like, okay, we're not running around killing each other.
Yeah, like what? Where do you like? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Like maybe in Chicago, yeah, and up until recently, Washington D.C., yeah, they were running around killing each other.
yeah, if you go to the ghetto, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to buy some crack, sure. But here's the thing, and this is another thing when they say America's, got a lot of violence in there because we have guns. And it's when America is weighed against all these other countries. What all these other countries don't measure in their gun violence statistic is suicide. So you have America that's lumping in suicide in this statistic.
And gang violence.
And every other country is not lumping in suicide into the gun statistic. Now, either everybody does or nobody does, but you can't compare one that lumps in the suicide statistic to one that doesn't lump in the suicide statistic. So when you take out the suicide statistic, the numbers fall by 40%, I believe. Now, I could be getting it off by 1 or 2%, but 40%, that's a pretty large number. And then when you start weighing the statistics per capita, because America is the third largest country in the entire world with like 370 million people in it, America doesn't seem that violent. Maybe you got to stop watching CNN,
Yeah.
So, and just to put the cherry on top, and I thank my dad for saying this because this is hilarious. He tags Lori Childs. Regulators must mount up. It's time for an eye, agree to disagree. You're the cancer in this country.
That's our father.
Yeah. So, props to him.
Yeah.
So
our dad, who's I'm surprised he's able to comment, seeing that he's usually banned from Facebook.
Yeah, I know. So I say, if your perception of America is people running around killing each other with guns, I'm not sure if I can fix that. I'm sure you've broken down gun violence statistics, and that still didn't do it. Or maybe you haven't. But regardless, I'm not going to touch that, because I'm not sure. This is another thing that leftists do, is that they try and change the framework of the premise of the argument, right? So we're invoking children, and we're trying to paint this out as a gun violence problem, right? Where it's not a gun violence problem. This is a political violence problem. And it's a political violence problem specifically on one side, right? So don't change the framework. It's a strategy that they use. You always got to be on your toes when you talk to a leftist, because they love to reframe and change the definitions of words. Anyways, so I asked her, what do you disagree about? and she says, "Oh, honey, I can go on for hours about this. I sincerely doubt it. I'm not engaging online, but," and this is where it gets actually pretty funny, because she turns into one of those grammar people.
Well, she is engaging online. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. What are you just going to say you disagree? And I haven't talked to you in 8 years, and you're just going to pop up out of the woodwork and say that you disagree?
Yeah, and I'm not trying to engage online.
And you're not trying to engage online when that's exactly what you just did. You responded to Dan Caldwell.
And let's face it, calling you honey is throwing out a jab.
It is. And you know what? I'm fine with that because I'm pretty handsome, so it's all right.
Yeah, but they'll do that like honey or hun, like, hey, settle down, slut.
Okay. Okay, so she goes, to start off, it's your,
I fucking hate when they do that.
Contractual RE. Now, when I saw this, I was like, oh, because I'm not gonna lie, I spell shit wrong all the time, and I do not proofread.
Me too, man.
All the time. I'm always using talk text, and it's always saying something that I kind of didn't say. So I'm reading through my comments, and I'm like, oh shit. Well, where is that? 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 Oh yeah. The only time I said your is when I said, if your perception of America is people running around killing people with guns.
Oh.
That's not the contractual apostrophe R-E.
Yeah.
That would be if you are perception of guns. Like if you want to play the grammar person on the internet, which everybody hates.
I hate it too.
Then just fucking no grammar.
But I feel like when people pull the grammar card, it's because they got nothing else.
Well, that's another strategy. This is them pivoting from you must not know how to spell, so you must not be intelligent. Well, I'm sorry that my pinky slipped off the Q button. My bad. And no one in this country should lose their life because there's a political difference in opinion, right? We all agree with that. So I go, my bad. If you are perception of America, that was my mistake. I said, yeah, you're right. Nobody should lose their life because of a political opinion. We also shouldn't burn down cities because of a political opinion. I'm sure me and other conservatives would love to hear your argument as to how the left doesn't have a monopoly on political violence right now. But I also totally understand politics can get toxic online. But I will say that people tend to comment on my threads are very civil, and we don't call each other Nazis, sexist, or whatever trigger words the left likes to use. And then I commented,
you fucking bitch.
Yeah, and then I commented, excluding my dad, because he totally called her like a cancer. But
yeah, I know. Jesus.
But I will say, she didn't comment back, right? Because you know why she didn't comment back? Because
she doesn't want to engage online, Lucas.
Well, yeah. So right here, and I commented, I didn't tag anybody. This is proof that the left can't compete in the market of intellectual ideas. I mean, she proved it right off the bat. First leftist to comment on it proved that they can't debate, proved that they don't have good ideas. Because she doesn't engage online, that's bullshit. I go, in this threat, proof that the left can't compete in the market of intellectual ideas is in this thread. I've never met someone on the left that can debate. I've been debating and having discussions on my podcast and in my leisure time every day for years, and that's not hyperbole. Paul, you can attest to that because you're right fucking there with me doing it.
I am.
We've been arguing about the Bible for the last fucking 2 months. People on the left run 99% of the time. This is just from my own anecdotal experience, but this happens to me so much I can confidently say I can speak from a position of authority. And that's just, I mean, it's just true. You collect so much data on something, it's no longer an anecdotal experience. This is a common thread. This is the truth, right? So now, Paul, I know this is one of your favorite episodes, our buddy Keith here. He said, yet again, people in power have done such a good job brainwashing its citizens and dividing the nation. So I said, I completely agree.
Wait, what did he say? I'm sorry.
He said, yet again, the people in power have done such a good job brainwashing its citizens and dividing the nation.
Oh, see, I so disagree to that. These people that are like, yeah, man, fucking divide and conquer. It's like, what are you talking about, divide and conquer? The Democrats' approval rating is at 28%. How are we going to divide this? 80 fucking 228? Like, what are you talking about? Divide and conquer, man. Like, get the fuck out of here. People say, like, yo, just like it says in The Art of War, man, divide and conquer. It's like, was The Art of War one sentence? It was a whole book. There's a lot in The Art of War.
This really has nothing to do with, I mean, I guess it did have something to do with the people in power because Democrats are the ones dividing with their divisive language. But
yeah,
anyway.
but I just hate the comments like what do you say, like divide something about the mindless people or something like that. What does it say?
Did a good job brainwashing its citizens and dividing them. I understand that that's like kind of a cop out appeal to both sides argument.
Yeah, he makes it sound like he's above it all. Like, yeah, brainwashing the citizens while I stand here on my mountain.
Yeah, I mean, I get
out of here.
I get his overall point, and I said, I completely agree, and I agree for reasons that just may not that just may be antithetical to whatever reasons you have. But at the end of the day, I know you personally, and I know that you will sit down and have a conversation. We have done this over a joint, and we have done this, and you have had the balls to come on the podcast for a discussion. When I typed that comment, I originally typed 100%, but paused and thought of you and another friend, Irene. The only two liberals that I know out of
He's been on your podcast?
What?
He's been on your podcast?
Yeah, Keith.
Yeah, which one's he?
We talked about this last week.
I'm sorry, which one is he?
Remember, you kept calling him gay, but he's not gay.
Oh, but he's bisexual though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he did the Pride episode last year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I knew he was bi before he even came out.
Well,
I only had to meet him once. Only had to meet you once, Keith. And I knew off the bat. I told my brother that day, and he didn't want to believe me.
I mean that is true, but
yeah,
I mean,
statute of limitations. We could talk about it.
You know, I love you, bud.
This was years ago. We could talk about it.
But out of dozens of liberals that have freaked out on me and deleted me, called me trigger words, that's why I type 99%, and for that I do appreciate it, because Keith will always have a good political conversation with you. He will not freak out. He's a good friend, and he's a good conversation.
But he was also saying that the drag shows for kids were just like they weren't as big of a deal as they were making it out to be. Didn't he say that?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I mean, he did say some wild shit that I thought that I definitely disagreed with. You know,
don't make me fly in the cliffs, Keith. I'll do it right now. I swear.
He definitely said some wild shit that I didn't agree with. But you know what?
Yeah.
We had the conversation. We talked about it, and at the end of the day, he still invites me to his
friends.
cookout,
Yeah, you guys are still friends at the end of the day, man.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad that he commented,
Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
But, I mean, that's it for the comment section. We don't have a lot of leftists that comment because they've all deleted me. But, it's interesting to see examples of what I said in the comment thread of them not debating, They're famous for it. And anyone listening, we'll have you on. Come on, we're looking for people to have conversations with. It's not going to be an I gotcha. You know, I'm not going to try and make you look bad. You know, come on, have the discussion. You know, you're few and far between. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that you're not few and far between. You know?
Yeah,
I'll
for
hold
sure.
my breath. Like, comment, subscribe.
Man, you had to take that sip, huh?
Why? Why?
The sound effects of you just like swallowing.
Uh.
That was awful.